to my channel, Mermaid Nina, here with another edition of my new series where I help you plan your Disney vacations by dissecting each of the 4 parks by, lands and areas to help you better understand what's going on at each given park. Now, I will note that I am doing this regarding the parks right now during COVID, as some items and features and things are not currently open, so I am not really discussing those things. I'm talking about what is open right now, what you will see if you go to the parks right now. And I am taking it location by land, by area, specifically kind of dissecting it apart, following the park map. So if you were physically there, you could almost follow my guidelines of turn left, turn right, and you will see what exactly I'm talking about. So to continue on with this series, if you missed last week was Adventureland. So tonight we are gonna move along the park map and we're gonna talk about Frontierland. Now, I wanna make it note that I am talking about Magic Kingdom, for those of you who are a little unfamiliar. And like I said, I am following the current park map. So there are items that you'll see when you're physically there that are not open right now, and that's due to COVID and whatever reason. So I'm not really mentioning those things. I'm talking about what you're gonna see if you go now. So if we continue on where we left off at Pirates of the Caribbean, which is in Adventureland. Now, something I forgot to note is that if you keep going before you hit Frontierland, which is what we're talking about tonight, you will hit what's called a relaxation station. Now, this is a great place to kind of unmask, eat any food that you packed or bought from some location, just kind of sit there, eat a Dole Whip, have a refresher, talk about your game plan and your next steps. It's a good way to kind of unmask and unwind and just kind of talk Disney with whoever you're with and relax. Just past that relaxation station is where you will hit Frontierland. So one thing I really want to note about Frontierland is right before you kind of cross the path into Frontierland with, of course, the big iconic thing that you will see first is Splash Mountain. But before you cross over this kind of imaginary path, what you're crossing over is the parade route. So I want to mention this because even though there is no traditional parade right now, there is no 2 o'clock parade, 3 o'clock parade, evening parade, there are cavalcades happening right now, which is basically Disney taking individual parade floats, putting characters on it, and taking those through the park. Now, they are using the exact same parade route that they would have used previously. So that little path right before Splash Mountain, there's kind of like some hidden doors. That is the beginning or the end, depending on the direction of the parade route. So that is actually an excellent spot to watch any parade or any cavalcade. In fact, in many of my videos, you will see me almost in this exact same spot filming those cavalcades, because depending if they're coming or going, they come right out of that path. So if you kind of need to take a breather and relax for a minute, that's a great place to do it, because most likely, especially starting at about 10 a.m., you could come across a cavalcade. I notice they tend to happen more frequently in the afternoon, starting about 11:30 noon. They can often be like boom, 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 and they keep happening. And they come out that little passageway right there in front of Splash Mountain. So I wanted to make it note that Frontierland is an excellent spot to catch any form of cavalcade, but we're gonna keep going. So if we left Pirates, we keep going, we're gonna hit that relaxation station I just talked about. You're gonna come across kind of an imaginary path. That is the parade route. If you keep going, on the left side is Splash Mountain. Now, I'm gonna make it known for people who are unfamiliar. Pretty much mountain in Disney terms is code for coaster. So if Disney has a ride with the word mountain in it, you need to tell yourself coaster. So Splash Mountain is 100% a coaster, but it's a different kind of coaster because it's not one of these. Splash Mountain is known for having the longest drop of Disney. It's actually like a 50+ foot drop. You cannot miss it, because if you walk past in front of Splash Mountain, you will actually see people coming down the drop, screaming, having a great time. So yes, Splash Mountain is family friendly. If you don't mind a coaster, it is a thrilling log flume ride, which means you are riding like a log down a big drop right there. So one thing to note, that even though it is family friendly, in regards to all the stuff that you will see inside the ride, you do have to be at least 40 inches tall. So those kiddies do need to be a little bit taller. And because it has such a long drop, it can be kind of scary and intimidating. This is not a coaster for your littles, and I definitely wouldn't use this as a starter coaster. So if you have a kiddo who is definitely 40 inches and can ride it, I wouldn't be attempting this ride until you've done some more family-friendly introduction coasters first. But for those of you who are like, yes, Nina, bring it on, I love a big drop, I am gonna let you know that it is kind of a fun musical ride, a little Song of the South going on in there. It's very fun and kitschy. There are 4 drops. They are kind of minor. They kind of help you drop and go as you're reaching the top before the big main drop. I will let you know that this is also a great location for a photo. So if you have Memory Maker, they will take your picture as you drop. It's also a great place for friends and family who are not going on the ride to kind of stand in front of the ride, and they can take a video and a picture of you actually falling. So it's really cool for that. But this ride is slated to get a makeover, to be redesigned like Princess and the Frog with Tiana. So right now it is kind of potentially your last chance to see it in its semi-original form. So before it becomes Princess and the Frog, now is the time to ride it as Splash Mountain. But yeah, it's definitely a fun coaster. I have ridden it several times as I was younger. I do have issues riding it now with my motion sickness. Both of my kids have ridden it. My son rode it for the first time this past trip and loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. He was kicking himself for not riding it previously. So I have a feeling that Splash Mountain will be on our list every time going forward. So just remember, just be cautious if you're taking any kiddos or people who are on the nervous side. But the big deal about this ride is the drop. And if you caught my words there, I said it was a water ride. So there is a chance you could get wet. Pretty wet, actually. In fact, you will see people riding the rides with ponchos on to help keep their clothes dry. I will often pack a garbage bag in my park bag so I can put my stuff in a garbage bag, because obviously I don't want my camera equipment and all those things getting soaked. So yeah, Splash Mountain, excellent ride. Just watch out for those littles going on it. So anyway, if we keep going down the Splash Mountain path, I think it's to the left, you'll hit Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. So there was my key word there. I said mountain. So Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is a coaster. It is a crazy coaster, almost like a train gone wild, a train kind of flying off the handles. It is one of those. It's one of these kind of crazy rides. There is no loop-de-doops or anything like that. But if you imagine like a choo-choo train who just got crazy and it's spinning and it's turning, and the theming inside the ride while you're riding it is pretty cool. So I definitely love this ride. Again, it's family friendly as long as your kiddo isn't going to be scared. So this also is not a ride I would start your littles out at. You still need to be 40 inches tall. It is considered a thrill ride with small drops. By small drops, I mean drops that kind of move and twist as it's going. It's not like Splash Mountain where you kind of just drop into nothing. This is like dropping and twisting and moving. It's pretty crazy. It's very cool. But yes, it is a coaster. It is very much a Disney family-friendly coaster where You don't want to take the littles on as their first ride. I'll tell you guys a little story. I had a client several years ago, one of my earlier clients, and she didn't listen to me. I told her to be careful and not take her child on a coaster too quickly to kind of ease up to that point. It was their first time with any form of, you know, like theme park, amusement park type place. So what does she do? The first thing she does is take her son on Space Mountain. You heard the word, right? Mountain. She did not listen to me. Kid got scared to pieces. They spent the rest of their trip shopping. He would not go on any ride the rest of the trip, not even like a Small World. He just got scared to bits. So just make sure you work your littles up to these types of rides. I will say that if your kid can successfully ride Seven Dwarf Mine Train, which we will get to in a different video, Big Thunder could be the next step up, because the rides are very similar in the fact that you're kind of in a train car and you're kind of doing a lot of this. Big Thunder could be a next step up for that. So yeah, Big Thunder is a great one. It's a classic. So yeah, give Big Thunder a try. Now, sort of, I don't know, I guess it's to the right of Big Thunder. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's on the water's edge. So as you continue down Frontierland, you will notice that Rivers of America is on the left side of you, and on the right side of you is dining and a few other things and some shops. But the left side is the waterfront for Rivers of America. So right there, just kind of in between Splash and Big Thunder, right here, there's this little weird spot, is where you're gonna get on the raft to do Tom Sawyer's Island. Now, if you guys have been following me for a while, you will know that I talked about Tom Sawyer's Island in a video a while back. One of our goals for our most recent trip was to fully explore Tom Sawyer's Island at Disney World. We have done it at Disneyland several times, but it had been a while since we did it at World. So anyway, it's very Mark Twainy. It's very, you know, Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn. So be prepared for that. But it is an excellent place, again, to let those kiddos run free and burn off some energy. So you do board kind of like a raft, and it takes you over to an actual island, Tom Sawyer's Island, where there are these kind of paths and tunnels and caves and stairways and things you kind of go around the island and explore. Like I said, it's a great place to burn off that energy. I will note a few things that for some reason, I think it's due to the capacity that they're putting on the raft. We noticed that Tom Sawyer had quite a bit of a wait, a little bit longer than I'm kind of hoping it was, but we dealt with it. We waited, I think, our 35 minutes, and we took our raft over. Another thing to note is if you are sensitive in the leg and back area, if you're not so good with the hiking and the climbing and stairs, then you might want to avoid Tom Sawyer's Island, or find one of those kind of quiet spots and kind of sit and wait for your family to be finished. But there's definitely some tunnels and caves, some areas that are really, really dark. So if you have a kiddo or someone who is afraid of the dark, or that would get a little nervous in that type of situation, just be careful for that. Maybe pack a flashlight, I'm not really sure. And some of those little tunnels and caves, some of the spots are really, really narrow. So if you are of a larger size, you might have a problem kind of fitting in there. Definitely an issue if you have any form of claustrophobia. So just kind of note that it is definitely an island built for kids to kind of run and explore. And even as an adult, I'm 6 feet tall, but I'm like average size, right? I'm not big, but I'm not tiny either. I had a hard time fitting through some of those spots, and some of those spots are definitely dark. So just be kind of aware of that. They do have a bunch of like rocky bridges, you know, the kind that move and things like that. But other than that, it's an absolutely fun for all type of place. And my kids had a blast. It was exactly what they needed in that moment of kind of waiting around in a bunch of lines. They needed that place to kind of just explore and unwind. So Tom Sawyer's Island was perfect for that. So you take a raft to the island, and then when you're done, you take a raft off the island. There was a bunch of chairs there in an area. So if you wanted to, say, pack your lunch or have a snack, there were some tables and chairs to do that. There was definitely bathrooms on the island and water fountains, in case that's an issue. I would be worried, however, if you are wheelchair bound, because there wasn't any really smooth places for a wheelchair to go. And even if you transferred over to a regular wheelchair, I'm not sure that would work either. So I think it's really only for people who can kind of get out of that wheelchair or that scooter and walk a little bit. So if you are definitely kind of wheelchair bound, you might want to skip Tom Sawyer's Island. So anyway, if you go back to that parade route that I was talking about in the beginning, so if we were going along the parade route, following from Adventureland into Frontierland, on the left side is where you would have seen Splash Mountain, Big Thunder, Tom Sawyer's Island. But on the right side, if you turn this kind of corner here, is where you will find my Pecos Bill's Tall Tale Inn. Now, if you've been following for a while, you will know that this is my family's #1 favorite quick service over at Magic Kingdom. It is very much kind of Mexican in feel, very much rice and beans, fajitas, nachos. They do have a cheeseburger. Actually, you know, you can get your soda, your French fries, guacamole. Ooh, love me some guacamole, and some other great things in there. It is, like I said, a quick service that does want you to mobile order ahead of time. And there is a ton of seating at this location, both indoors and outdoors. In fact, they took the restaurant that is next door to it. I think it's the Tongarooga Tavern. That's currently closed. But they've been using kind of the seating and such in that area also for Pecos Bills, because it is such a popular venue. So yes, it's a great place if you, again, you want to eat something different. Definitely outside of the cheeseburger and hot dog arena, outside of the pizza arena. We absolutely love rice and beans and guacamole. So if you've seen my videos, you will see that we will eat there over and over again. So yes, 100% a great place to go. We find it very clean. We can always find a table. There's always cast members in there cleaning up. There's several exits and entrances. And yeah, we cannot say enough about Pecos Bills. But if you keep going along that path on the right side, you will eventually hit what's called the Country Bear Jamboree. So Country Bear Jamboree is an attraction. It is not a ride. It's actually a theater type show with animatronic country bears. It is kind of hokey and kitschy. It's very cute and fun. It's great for all ages. It's especially great if you need to take a load off your legs, if you need some air conditioning, if there's some bad weather coming up, or if you need to get out of the sun for a while. It's definitely a great place for that. I will note that I did have a few clients in the past complain about some of the repertoire that happens between the bears. To me, it's all good, fun, kind of historic opinions of the past, but just note that it is definitely the attraction that inspired the Country Bear Jamboree movie, which of course is on Disney Plus. Now, because it's a theater, you can remain in your wheelchair and you would just park in a wheelchair spot. So good for that. Now, I want to note, when you head towards the Country Bear Jamboree area, you need to look up, because above the theater, the country bears tend to meet and greet guests up there. And by meet and greet, I mean wave from a distance, because they're obviously on the second story building and you're obviously down below. But there is dancing and all sorts of hijinks going on over there with the country bears and you as a guest. So make sure when you walk past that area on the right hand side that you definitely look up to see if you can find a country bear. Now, just past the Country Bear Jamboree, there is also another like second story walkway. Again, look up, because oftentimes that is where Chip and Dale will meet guests from above. I have seen them there for Christmas, for Halloween, and all sorts of areas. They are up there waving and being Chip and Dale and being, you know, their crazy little chipmunk selves. So make sure you always look up when you're in Frontierland crossing those areas. So again, if we go to the left side of those things, you're gonna hit Westward Ho, which is an odd name, but it's a counter service cart like place. It's a great place for people to kind of get a few little nibbles and bites, like maybe, you know, your kiddo didn't quite finish lunch or they need a nice snack before a lunch and dinner. So it's a great place to get corn dog nuggets, a Mickey pretzel, a churro, coffee. My husband is constantly on the hunt for coffee. I swear that man could drink coffee 24/7. Lemonade and other sorts of beverages. Again, it's a counter service cart, so there isn't necessarily seating and whatnot around, but it's a good place to kind of grab that little snack if you want those types of items. Now, if we keep going along the parade route, which again, like I said, starts at Frontierland and it goes all the way down, the land all of a sudden merges into Liberty Square. And it's kind of hard to tell the difference between Liberty Square and Frontierland until boom, you're in Liberty Square. But I will let you know that Liberty Square will be in the next video, but just past where you would see the chipmunks and Liberty Square sort of starts beginning. The right side there is a bunch of shops, and those shops are great places to pick up your little types of souvenirs, pins, lots of pins, keychains, magnets, those kind of things. So I wanted to mention that before we get to the next video, which is, like I said, Liberty Square. So anyway, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. If you're loving these videos, please let me know because I will keep going. If you guys are like, Nina, really, what are you doing? Go back to your other types of videos. Let me know that too because I'll stop. I really want to help you guys plan your Disney vacations. And I'm getting a lot of questions from people who feel like first timers or you haven't been in a while. And so you kind of forget what's there and what is really good for families and, you know, and what has a height requirement and whatnot. So that's why I'm kind of dissecting these apart. But let me know what you guys think. If you've been around for a while and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so. If the subscribe button is red, please click it, turn it gray, hit the bell icon for notifications, like this video, and like I said, comment. I want to know if these are working out for you guys or what other information I should add that would be helpful. Obviously, you can Google and Wikipedia all these rides independently and get the full history of them. I'm kind of sharing a little bit more than what the map says just to kind of help you as you figure out what you want to put on your list of things you want to try. I always tell people to go to the parks with like a top 10 list of things you definitely want to do, and then have like a bottom 10 list of things that you will do if it works out. So having me kind of dissect all these things I thought would be helpful, but let me know if they are indeed helpful to you. But yes, guys, as always, mahalo for watching. Nina out.